Morning, it's the 29th of March 2025. We just parked up in Patterdale, £5 for the day at the Patterdale Hotel. Cross the road, head round the back of the hotel, through the gate and start heading up the fell side. A little further up here we're going to take a left and follow a wall up to Arnison Crag. From there we're going to head up Birks and eventually St Sunday Crag, drop off Gavel Pike and back into Deepdale and Patterdale. It's a beautiful morning. We've got a weather window. It's very early. It's only 6 AM now. The weather's supposed to turn this afternoon again. A lot of rain and wind, so we've got out nice and early. Rather than heading through this gate at the Glenamara Park, we're going to head straight up the side of the wall here. Follow the wall past this little crag here on our left, Oxford Crag, and before long it'll get you up to our first summit of the day, Arnison Crag. There's Ullswater behind us. So I'm confident we're going to get to the summit of St Sunday Crag before that weather comes in. Well, it's hard to say really. I think it might be atmospheric up there. I think we might be clagged out by the time we get there. But one thing I'm almost certain of is we'll be back into the valley of Deepdale before the worst of that weather comes later today. So we've given it our best shot. We were up at 4 AM and parked up by 5:45. Take a left here up this faint path. That's Arnison Crag above us. If you carried on below it, it would avoid it and take you to Birks. Here's the rock star. Up here, Billy. Up. Go on, lad. Good boy. Tiny scramble, and here we have the summit of Arnison Crag. 433 metres. It's a Wainwright and a Birks. From Arnison Crag we're going to drop down the back here onto that footpath where we're going to meet up with that wall again and head up onto Birks. St Sunday Crag behind Birks, and behind St Sunday Crag Gavel Pike or Gavel Pike, and the ridge we're going to come back down, and below us Deepdale. We'll follow the road back round to eventually Patterdale. Follow the wall and eventually it'll end, and then it'll steeply go up Birks. Unfortunately we got to drop and lose a chunk of Ascent. That's the end of the wall. We need to be in Trough Head there in the bottom, and then we're going to head steeply up that wall, and believe me, it is steep. So I'm going to stay high up here for a minute or two, and then I'm going to drop down into the col a little bit further along here. I'm being very careful because about 3 years ago, the last time I did this walk, I dropped into the bottom here, nice easy ground, grass, and I turned my right ankle in a small hole. It was absolutely nothing. My God, it was a bad one. Stupidly, rather than turn around and go back, I head up the wall because it was a good day. I got to Birks and eventually St Sunday Crag, and I absolutely crawled off the back of Gavel Pike. Once I hit the road I could hardly walk once I was on the tarmac, and then when I got back to the car, took my boot off, my foot was a mess. It was black, completely black, up to my sock line where the blood had stopped, and it was almost a year before I was properly fell fit again. It was really that bad. I was on the small fells for about 3 months and then slowly, gradually worked my way back up, but I don't want to be doing that again. And from that day onwards I've walked with 2 sticks. In fact, I bought these 2 lecky poles that same week and I've never been without them. Touch wood, I've not had a bad ankle roll since I got the sticks, but I was getting worried because before I actually got them I was turning my ankles probably every 2 or 3 months, and I was doing some bad ankle turns as well, so I really did need to do something about it. I was getting to the point where, you know, I just didn't know what to do. Got the sticks and I've never looked back, so hopefully we don't have any more issues. I've had a couple of small ankle turns in that time, but nothing serious. Yeah, the sticks are the Lecky Legacy with the cork handles, and I really am pleased I chose the cork handles. I have used one stick in the past, but I never ever used it much with a rubber handle, and they're horrible in the summer. They go sweaty and sticky. These cork handles are absolutely fantastic. Yep, Lecky Legacy Light. If you're young, listen to this old man. Get yourself some sticks, because you're gonna need them when you get a bit older, and if you start using them when you're young, you might get another 10 years out your walking career. My fatal mistake that day was thinking, oh, I only need to get up this wall onto Birks and then we're nearly on St Sunday Crag. No, believe me, we've still got a long way to go. There's a lot of clag rolling in behind us on the fells we were on last week. Hartsop and Grey Crag. The long ridge between the 2 valleys is Hartsop above a How, which would eventually get you up onto Hart Crag and then Fairfield. It's a tough call getting up and down this wall. 200 metres of ascent to get up to Birks from Arnison Crag. And here we have the summit of Birks, 622 metres. That first cairn we crossed wasn't the summit, although it looks like it. This point's slightly higher, 622, and it's a Wainwright, a Birkett and a Nuttall. A couple of stones here. Once over there was just a grassy mound, but someone's marked it. We're going to head across the ridge and steeply up onto St Sunday Crag, which we can still see at the moment. We might get lucky. The valley below us to our right, or the northwest, is Grisdale, and straight across the valley is Striding Edge onto Helvellyn, which is also clear. You can just see Catstye Cam peeking up behind Striding Edge, and the long ridge there down from the hole in the wall back to Glenriddin and Ullswater. Once you start heading back up the other side, there are two paths heading up to St Sunday Crag, one to my left and one straight ahead of me. The one to the left kind of traverses up, and the one straight ahead of me follows the crags, so we're going to follow the crags. Update on my car, by the way. I did eventually get it back repaired, but still with plenty of faults. You know, that oil consumption completely wrecked the catalytic converter, and I also discovered it's now losing water, no leaks, exhaust gurgling, so what had gone through the engine? Well, it's gone. We Buy Any Car got it on Tuesday. Me and Tracy also took a trip to Penrith on Tuesday, and we've both got new cars coming, or should I say old new cars coming. Tracy's decided to get shot of her Fiesta, as it's nearly got 100,000 on the clock. So yeah, watch this space, because there's something very, very different coming to the channel. Hopefully we can incorporate into the videos, because the old Peugeot has cost me a serious amount of money the last 2 years. It had to go. I was just flogging a dead horse. We're just heading onto the summit plateau now of St Sunday Crag. Somewhere down there below us is Pinnacle Ridge, another fantastic, exciting, if not dangerous way onto St Sunday Crag. Pinnacle Ridge is a grade 3 scramble and absolutely no place for a dog. I've been up there twice myself with my friend Simon Lockyer, and once with my friend David Keating. It's a tough old scary ridge with a big crux pinnacle so far up it that you've got to climb up. As I said, a grade 3 scramble, so really theoretically you should be wearing helmets and ropes on there, but you know, back in our daft days when we was a bit younger, we didn't know what ropes were. Just down there is where Pinnacle Ridge tops out onto the path and onto St Sunday Crag. Helvellyn, Nethermost Pike, Dollywagon Pike, Dollywagon Pike's East Ridge, Nethermost Pike's East Ridge. St Sunday Crag, 841 metres. It's a Wainwright, a Birks, a Hewitt, a Nuttall and a Marilyn. We're going to drop off left down that ridge to the summit of Gavel Pike. There's a bit of wind blowing in now. It's supposed to be 45 mile an hour later this afternoon, so thankfully we'll be down by then. The summit of Gavel Pike, it really is just a spur coming off St Sunday. Here we are, 784 metres. It's a Birks. That's the valley of Deepdale below us. We're going to head off this ridge on the end into Deepdale. As you're seeing, there's one or two little scrambly sections off Gavel Pike. There's no path on the map, so it's a little bit sketchy. Once you get down from them scrambly sections onto the grass here, past Lord's Seat, which was that flat section that I just came over, the path kind of disappears. It's just a case of working your way down the grass, zigzagging. As you can see, there's no dangers in front of us. Wind's blowing in about 30 now, 35 maybe. It was too windy on the top for the drone. We managed a few little shots. It was probably about 25 up on the top. It's probably about 40 up on the top now, I would think. It's definitely blown in steadily harder as we drop down this ridge. The ground's starting to flatten off a bit now as we're getting a bit closer to Deepdale. Them rocks and crags there are the ones I just told you to avoid. I came around that way. How I ever managed to get down off the back of here with a smashed ankle, I'll never know. Just perseverance, I guess. I really was in pain, but kinda know how to manage the pain. My ankles are like elastic. They don't actually break, they just stretch. I tear the ligaments and then it takes a long time for them to heal. Same with my knees. I've never smashed any bones or kneecaps, but I have torn ligaments in my knees as well, and same thing, they've took months if not years to repair as well. I had a knee injury that knocked me off the fells for about 4 months, and then a slow gradual recuperation back via the small hills. I'm very careful these days. As you can see, I never take my eyes off the ground. I don't actually look at the camera too much. I've caught up with the footpath here, so we're just going to follow this now. It's a little bit sketchy there for probably 15-20 minutes, but we're now back on the path. So yeah, we came off on a decent path. We lost the path for a little bit. In fact, there ain't no path, and then we found a little bit of a path further down near the bottom. None of these are on the map, as I said, so if you find them, you're lucky. Straight across the valley we got Angletarn Pikes. From the top of Gavel Fell you can actually see Angletarn, but not from down here. Behind us now we've got a better view of our route down off Gavel Fell. We came down off the summit, and that little bump halfway down is called Lord's Seat on the map. We avoided the crags on this side and went round that side, followed the ridge down, followed the footpath down. At this point we're going to go around this little shoulder here, and that'll probably drop us almost into the bottom of the valley. We're on a nice clear bracken path now. A lot of bracken up here in the summer. It's going to drop us down to the beck, Deepdale beck, where we're going to stay on this side and then eventually hit the road, where we'll have a little bit of road walking to do. Not much, just about half a mile maybe. The small beck to my left is Cold Cove Gill, and it eventually runs into Deepdale beck just down here, which then eventually runs into Ullswater. The beautiful valley of Deepdale second only to Dovedale, which is behind that ridge in front of us. That's Hartsop above Howe. Behind that is Brothers Water and Dovedale. There's a stone being placed in this sheepfold down at the bottom. I have no idea what it is, so if anyone knows, please drop me a comment. It certainly had a bit of effort put into it to make. Cross the little stone footbridge here and head down this lane past the appropriately named Wall End. That's Wall End, and the path is this side of the wall, and it'll take us back to the road. Sheep in this field, so we're back on the lead. Well, at least I think the sheep. Funny looking things. Got little white eyelashes. Meh. Sheep with white eyelashes. Leave me a comment, let me know what they are. Through the gate here. And down to the road via this little lane here on our right, down to Deepdale Bridge. I'm going to wrap the video up here as we're almost at the road now. I hope you enjoyed the walk. Fantastic walk again, brilliant conditions. We've beat that weather. It certainly hasn't come in yet. There's still time yet though. It's only 12 o'clock. It's forecast for mid-afternoon, the poor weather. So yeah, in total by the time we get back to Patterdale the walk will be about 7 miles. So if you like my content, please think about giving me a subscribe. It's goodbye from me and goodbye from our lad the Rockstar. Today's walk starts from the Patterdale Hotel car park. Crossing the road, we head behind the back of the hotel and steeply up to the summit of Arnison Crag. Dropping down Arnison Crag into the Col of Troughead, we then steeply head up to the summit of Birks. Dropping into the col below St Sunday Crag, we then steeply head up the ridge line to the summit of St Sunday Crag. Dropping down St Sunday Crag to Gavel Pike, we then took Gavel Pike's ridge all the way back down into Deepdale to Wall End. We took the lane down to Deepdale Bridge and back into Patterdale.